One of the questions that came up is parenting in the digital age, technology issues. A parent shared that his son or her son has decided to concentrate very little in school. And the reason is AI has everything. So the teen is asking himself, why should I work hard, yet I can get all the answers through AI? So what is the implication, therefore, of this digital age in the education system of our children? And of course, things like addiction to the internet, which comes with watching pornography, time management, and such issues. How can I control gadget time? The other one is on communication. You know, my teen is not listening, is indisciplined, disobedient, does not respond to me. And in the point of communication, a good number of single mothers or mothers raising children alone raised up this issue with communication. Again, attitude issues, throwing tantrums, silence, withdrawal, rebellion, being bored and unhappy all the times. Some of the things that are happening. Mental wellness challenges, stress, depression, suicidal thoughts, bedwetting was also another one that was raised by two parents. Now, building resilience, where esteem issues come in, and once a child or a teen has been put down by issues of life, then they take forever to rise up and come back to their feet. Now, issues to do with emotional intelligence, anger outbursts, aggression, Now, again, peer pressure, especially the question of sleepover. How do I manage the pressure that comes with sleepover and exposure to porn, tattoos, plaiting the hair simply because the friends are plaiting, especially for boys. Now, sex talk, the elephant in the house. What can we say with my teen about sex? Related to it are the issues of boy-girl relationships and crushes. My teen has a crush. How do I handle that? Again, the question of sexual revolution. But there is also the LGBTQ agenda, the elephant again in the house. Masturbation. How do I handle all these things with my teen? Character issues like lying, stealing, drug abuse, and substance abuse. The issue of taking responsibility, like house chores, where you give your teen some assignment to do, but they do it when they like. Sometimes they lie to you that they were busy and they don't do it at all, or they do it haphazardly. How do we deal with that? Time management issues, procrastination, lack of balance, especially with tech issues. Now, conflict management, a big one, handling sibling rivalry, church matters. Teens, many parents complain that their teens stopped going to church or they no longer concentrate in church matters. How do we handle that? Some parent told me that my teen told me that he will go to church for me, not for himself. Now, the question of when your teen views you as an enemy, very typical of that age group. A parent also once shared with me in the course of mentorship that, Steve, what do I do with my son? He feels like I am the worst person ever in his life. Now, that was a boy. Now, navigating transitions, from preteens to teens into adults, parenting at the different ages, like what should I do at preteen? What do I do at teen, at young adults? Effective discipline. Now, very important, where do I draw the line between discipline and abuse? Things to do with parenting in the current generation, which we are largely talking about. But the question of connection, how do I balance authenticity and still remain an authority in the life of my child? How and when do I explain the question of divorce? Like maybe your children are in a divorce context, or you parents are in a divorce context and children are involved here. So how do you start explaining to your child that, by the way, divorce happened? And at what age do you do that? It's a question that we are asked many times. Now, remote parenting, maybe because of work, visa issues and all that. Raising boys and disciplining boys as a single mother, that question came a lot. Making daughters period ready, creating healthy boundaries with your children, plus many others. Now, these two are just questions that I will ask at the end of it or in the process of this conversation. So our topic today is raising teens. The good, the bad, the ugly. Teens are really good, and especially the adolescent stage is making them crazy, but you don't know just what to do. And the package that comes with that. Then there's the place of the ugly. We have encountered reports from parents where teens stand up and slap the parent. What can you do? There's a situation that we faced recently where a teen decided to watch pornography with the house help and the sister and impregnated both. As a parent, what do you do? Two people are pregnant in your house. Then there was a serious, again, another case where a teen, after watching pornography, decides to sneak into the mother's bedroom. This is a boy sneaking into the mother's bedroom and slightly lifting the clothes of the mother. And the mother is pretending to be asleep to figure out what's happening, only to realize that this is the boy that I love most in this house, are doing this thing, and many others. To help us understand this further, facilitator to take this session. Now, our facilitator is Victoria Kedemi. Now, Victoria Kedemi is a family and marriage therapist. Victoria goes to church at Ridgeway's Baptist Church, where together with the husband, they are part of the marriage group. Victoria has two children. One is 26 years old and another one is 23. And Victoria has a master's degree in marriage and family therapy from United States International University. Now, she is a certified mediator, plus many more. A lot of experience on couples therapy, conflict mediation, educational leadership, family systems therapy, and she's also a trained teacher. So she brings experience from teaching perspective. She has taught for the longest, but now also from therapy perspective and her personal experience with the teens in the house and young adults and many more. Victoria, the stage is yours.
But I think Steve has introduced me. Plus, I'm a member of all these groups that also keep us sane, keep us safe, ensuring that we become also safe for our clients. All right. So imagine if your family was a movie, what genre would it be in? If your family was a movie, what genre would it be? I'll tell you why this is important in a minute. So if your family was a thriller, that means it would have fear-inducing plot twists. If it was an action movie, you'd have over-the-top sequences. If it was a slice of life, it would have relatable focus on character development. If it was a horror, your family, if it was a horror, that would be a thrill on steroids with a lot of fear and plot twists. If it was comedy, then there's fun and a lot of amusement. If it was a rom-com, then there's just that fluffy romance story. If your family was melodrama, there would be a lot of dramatic romance. If it was just drama, that would be an emotional roller coaster ride. If your family was sci-fi, that would be fantasy justified by science. Or if your family was just a fantasy, it would be imagined and not grounded in reality. And why this is important is because out of your family, we call you the family of origin, you, the single parent, father and children, mother and children, blended family and children, a nuclear family and children, you're the family of origin that will impact the teenage in a very huge way. In my therapy space right now, 97% of the therapy cases that are coming in with teenagers, a lot of them, a lot of their pain, a lot of their mental health, a lot of their depression is caused by the ongoings of the family of origin. And so, yes, teenagehood has all these things. Unfortunately, most of the pain is caused by parents and whatever is happening all around them. And so this is what I'm talking about. So you're the family of origin, and you have, let's call this about 97% of whatever your child is going to have, what we are going to see in their behavior, in their emotions, and how they carry on life will come from you, the parents. Let me repeat that again. Whatever we are going to see coming out of the teen, most of it is caused by the family of origin, which is you. And sometimes, knowingly or unknowingly, we wound our children. Most of the time, we don't want to, but we do it, and we will see why in a minute. So Proverbs 22:6 says that train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. The meaning of train is to teach a person a particular skill or a type of behavior through practice, instruction over a period of time. And here, period of time is a lifetime. Because even at 50, you go to your mom, you go to your dad, you're still their child. At 67, you're still their child. And so training doesn't stop now. It starts when that child is born, and then forever. We continue just training. It's just that now in the formative years and in the teenagehood, there's a little bit more training than before. And so we are saying that you're the child's first teacher. Before they go to school, most of the things should have been taught at home. And your work as a parent is to care, to educate, and to guide. Yes, talking about teens. However, we can't have teens without the parents. And so we are going to look at you, the parent, and then we look at the teen because you're working together. So parents' work is to care, to educate, and to guide. And we're saying that it's important to change your mindset and thought patterns where your teen is involved, because the way you think about them affects your feelings and behavior. So when we think that, oh, this parenting teens is so hard, it's the worst thing ever, I don't know how I'm going to, immediately your thought patterns start going that way. Your feelings and your behavior towards them change. You may not know it, but probably your nonverbal communication will be like, you're tiring. I'm so tired of parenting. You went like when the school opening and you didn't just close last week. The school opening, you go back to school. So we need to change and even verbalize it and say, you know what? Parenting teens is not that of a nightmare. It just needs a little bit more of awareness. And so what factors affect you as a parent, as you're parenting the teens? Why are we looking at you? Because you are the family of origin, like we said. And whatever you do is going to affect the behaviors and the feelings and the emotions and the thought patterns of the teenager. And so as a parent, if you're wounded and you did not heal from your wounds, they become like chains we carry. Where are these wounds coming from? One, the adverse childhood experiences that happened to you when you were small, when you were young. Is that really important? Yes, this is what I'm dealing with a lot in the therapy space. Somebody will come, they are 50, and when we start tracking down their history, because as marriage and family therapists, we deal with the problems from the root. You realize that this person was abandoned. They were emotionally abused by their parents. They were physically abused. Some were sexually abused, when they were younger. And some of these wounds were never processed. So they are sitting there wounded. So when their teenage now behaves in a certain way behaves in a way that triggers them, then they lash out. But they are lashing out now to the wrong person because the teenager did not wound them. But these wounds come all the way from when they were small. So we have emotional, physical, sexual abuse. We have emotional and physical neglect. This is where your parents, now remember parents, you're talking about you, where your parents emotionally were not there for you. And we know that our parents, the previous generation did not know anything about emotional intelligence. They were the parents that taught us that we are there to be seen and not to be heard. So we didn't have any emotional connection with them. And we know that today emotional intelligence is a currency that is ongoing, the social currency for the day. And so when you don't have that emotional connection with your child, they didn't have any emotional connection with you, then it becomes very hard for you to connect with your child emotionally as well. Then we have physical neglect, where a parent will just disappear. You don't know where they have gone, and no one is telling you anything. And you can't ask, because remember, you're there to be seen and not to be heard. And then we had household challenges like substance abuse. A lot of our parents abused alcohol and drugs, where there was a mental illness in the home, where there was gender-based violence, where there were parents' divorce and separation, or where there was a parent who was in jail. All these 10 that are mentioned here are called adverse childhood experiences. If they happened to you as a child, yes, it seems like forever years ago, guess what? That wound is just there. Probably it's festering. Probably it's just there hurting the other parts of you because it's not been processed. So alongside the adverse childhood experiences, in short, we call them ACEs, we also have father and mother wounds. The way our parents used to talk to us, like we were, I don't know, 7th class citizens, the way you just be talking and you're wondering, hey, what have I done? Why are you talking to me that way? The paradoxical talk where you'd be told the opposite and you're supposed to do the opposite. Something like take all the glasses and break. And that time you are carrying these glasses or plates to the kitchen, you tripped and fell. And instead of this parent sympathizing because of what you have done, they just lash out at you. And this creates mother and father wounds, and some are really deep. And apart from even the paradoxical talk, we have parents that would beat and abuse, because some of it, we call it discipline, but it bordered more on abuse because you're just being beaten because baby didn't have a sweater and it's raining. I am a baby. And a lot of us were parentified, meaning we were being made parents before there was time. That creates a wound where the mother was so manipulative and so harsh, and the words that were really hurting and cutting, and some people being told, oh, you're the ugliest person I've ever seen, and then you're wondering, but you're my mother, so if I'm ugly, hey, such things. And the fathers also just being very harsh and very authoritative. Someone is talking. Ruth or Dinda, please mute yourself. Thank you. All right. There was over-punishment. There was passivity, where the parent basically wasn't there. You were bringing yourself up as a child. There was failure to show emotional expression. You never knew. You don't know what a mother's hug feels like or what a father's hug feels like because the parents were emotionally unavailable. The verbal lashing, the lack of affirmation, where nobody even told you how beautiful and how handsome and how strong and affirmed you for who you are, where the parents had a very poor representation of God. And yet they expect you to go to church and they are not going to church. Like my dad, hardly, when I was growing up, he never went to church. However, on Sunday, you could not be found in the house. It was his sleeping time because on Saturday he came home drunk. And so that double standard, that caused woundedness. The harsh and critical religious upbringing that we faced, that also wounded us. And remember, we could not talk. And then other sources of wounds that we as parents may have experienced: bullying, natural disasters, community violence in some places, the joblessness that the parents had, and then they would lash out on the children, the refugee and wartime experiences for some people. So parents, these are factors that affect you as a parent. And I pray that in some years to come, your son and daughter will not be in a therapy space also being, saying my parent wounded me this way. Because we are learning, there's awareness, and when there's awareness, then we can make meaningful change. So when you have this kind of wounds, that means you're parenting. However, because the wounds were not processed, they were not addressed, because it's at the back of the mind, in your thoughts, you're thinking that it's not affecting me, but it does. And that's how we come out this way. We sometimes get into very poor and toxic relationships. We have very poor emotional regulation. That means when a child does something and it just reminds me of maybe something my mother would have said or my dad would have said, even today, you'll hear still somebody saying, you know what, my mom just took the iron and threw it at me. Or my dad just yelled at me, or I was beaten so hard. The other day, somebody was showing me wounds that they had on their body that was inflicted by their father. And that is not discipline, that's abuse. Because when a 19-year-old is showing you marks all over their body that were inflicted by a parent, then it stops being discipline, that's abuse. So poor emotional regulation comes from those wounds that we caught from our parents. Low life potential. Some people get depression and addictions can be of anything, including work, including even service. We're in church, you're in all ministries. That's a form of addiction because you're running away. You're trying to escape from facing some of those things that are a nuisance, are a problem. The same way somebody goes to seek alcohol and drugs to numb their pain and to cope with whatever is happening right now. And some will even say, I can't face my teenagers, can't face my family because they're afraid, because they haven't dealt with their own pain. Mental health disorders also stem from there. Aggressive and abuse towards the vulnerable. And now here, if the father is wounded, then he'll be aggressive and abusive towards the mother and the children. If the mother is wounded, she'll be abusive and aggressive towards the children. And then the children will go to school and bully other children. So anytime in school, for example, I would see a child, like I had a child one time who was really beating on the other children. He would just beat for no reason. And I know that because I would watch him. Sometimes we'd be in a line going to take tea, and he just throws another child into the bushes there. And I'm thinking, why? What has just happened? But then when I followed up, I realized that this child was really being abused by his parents. And his parents would say, we are disciplining him. However, unfortunately, the child transferred, so I wasn't able to unearth some of the abuse that was going on. But you could tell there was something that was ongoing with the parents that was not okay. And forgiveness, you feel like you can't forgive, then you hate yourself. And we are saying that toxic stress affects brain development and how the body responds to stress. And this is true of young children, teenagers, and adults as well. Sometimes they are risky health behaviors. Somebody's mic is open. We have chronic health conditions. And because of the parental wounds, you find that life expectancy is cut by 20 years short because of the diseases that come with the continued toxic stress that the body experiences. Autoimmune diseases, poor decision-making skills, then the person is, you find that you might be very irritable, very angry, and you keep fearing abandonment. Because if you are abandoned when you are young, that fear stays with you and you think everybody else will go. The anger could come from the loss and grief of the family that should have been. As you were growing up, I wasn't there. Then we have hopelessness and helplessness. And we are saying that what is not transformed is transferred. So if you're finding yourself in some of these things I'm saying, it's time to seek help. And with parental wounds, because they are very deep, some of them just don't go. Some of them cannot be prayed away. We have to seek therapeutic help so that you don't transfer those wounds to your children. And then remember, you parent the way you are parented. And parents teach what we know, but we reproduce who we are. So when you want to make a change in your teenager's life, in your children's life, then it's time to also introspect and see these wounds that I have, I need to do something about them. Some of them, you may not remember them very well because you've shoved them at the back of your subconscious. But slowly by slowly, there are those things that you can pinpoint and see. And if you look at my iceberg here, what we see in the deep part of the family of origin is that when the child is feeling all these things, the fear, the embarrassment, the shame that comes from the parent not really accepting them, the unwantedness, the low confidence, the distress, then the white is what we see. We see the anger, we see the rage, we see the loss of self-control, the hiding, the self-isolation, the low frustration, the screaming, and some of those things that we are mentioning. I'm not saying that all of it is due to parental woundedness, but a bigger percentage of it, our teenagers are suffering because of parental woundedness. And parenting styles also are informed largely by how you are parented. So we have these 4 types of parenting styles. We have the authoritative. This is now the good. This is the firm, the warm parent, dialogues, condemns what wrong has been done and does not condemn the child. And this parent raises a responsible adult. And for the other 3 kind of parents, we all want to be authoritative. And this is what our children are looking for. The many times I've interacted with children in school, including teenagers and young adults, this is one thing they said about their parents, that I can't talk to my parents. My parents just want me to do what they are saying. It's all about you controlling the child without listening to them. And parents, let's agree that 2025, we cannot raise the children the way we were raised. Clearly, that is not working at all. It's not working, it will not work because we are raising a very different generation from the way we were raised. And so, yes, you parent the way you are parented. However, it is time now to change because we have the awareness. We have the authoritarian parent who is a boss, who is a ruler. There's no warmth, there's no affection, there's no affirmation. They don't even respect the child. It's you do as I say, and we are not discussing this. However, this only works in childhood when the children are younger, but it produces and results in negative results in teenage years and adulthood. Because remember, this generation has a voice. We could not talk, but this generation, hey, they know how to talk. And we saw today when that high school was denied an opportunity to perform their play. I mean, they don't even need to be told, let's do this. They go ahead and do. Then we have the permissive parent who has a lot of warmth and lavishing, but this parent has no rules and no boundaries. And then they raise entitled narcissistic adults who do not know the meaning of no. Now, authoritarian parent, most of our parents were here in the authoritarian kind of parenting, where there were both rulers, there was no warmth, no affirmation, they pay school fees, and that should translate to I love you, and why are you even beginning to show like you're not loved? What do you mean? And so because of that, a lot of now parents became permissive or neglectful or the same authoritarian that their parents were. The neglectful parent is unavailable to give direction, give rules, or to give guidance. There is no warmth or discipline. This child parents self and raises a defiant or a very depressed adult. And so we are saying, let's learn from yesterday's mistakes. And yesterday's mistakes are our parents' mistakes. Remember, our parents were parented by parents who had gone through the Mau Mau Independence War, and the glory and the horror and what the family faced at that time. You can almost understand why then our parents were the way they were. And we understand, and we are not here to shame them, but we are saying we can make a difference. And remember, every generation comes with a letter to the next. It's just that we never read it. And the things that we don't talk about as our generation, our children will talk about them. Gen Z have watched their parents, no voice. They're just being oppressed and suppressed. See what they are doing now. They are voicing it all out and saying, no, enough is enough. So yes, we have a mandate to read into the previous generation and see how can we be better so that at the next generation can even parent better, being authoritative, not authoritarian, permissive or neglectful. So your parenting is shaped by the adverse childhood experiences, the insecurities, the beliefs, the values, the mother and father wounds, amongst other contributors. And we are saying that we are a sum total of the environment that we grew up in, willingly or unwillingly. Yeah. And the best gift you can give your child is becoming the healthiest version of yourself. So it is important to introspect and work on healing so that you can become the healthiest version of yourself. Then we look at the goal of parenting. I've healed myself and I am working on healing myself as a parent. Right. So what is the goal of parenting? It's not just giving this child shelter and food and clothes and take them to school and then, yeah, they grow and leave my house. There's a deeper and higher calling to that. So God designed your child to function independently of you. And this is also difficult about parenting because it is the only relationship designed by God that measures success by how well it ends. Cloud Townsend says that you are investing in helping your child to leave you. And how are they then leaving you? Yes, you provided shelter, you have given them clothes, you have fed them, they've gone to school. What else is this that is needed in them? Your child leaving you. Your child right now is a teenager. I saw others, I think the youngest was 6 years old, 7 years old. And that's awesome and that's great. You have a mandate that by the time your child is leaving, work with the goal of parenting in mind. And the goal is to help your child leave you. That is the goal of parenting. But they are not going to go empty-handed. We're saying that you can't get lost if you don't know where you're going. So you have your child here. Picture what you want to see them, how you want to see them as an adult. 25 there when they're leaving your home, or maybe let's give them 27. How do you want that child to look then? What skill set do you want to see then? And then work backwards, work from now. From now, I will start equipping my child with this skill set so that they can leave me successfully and live successfully away from me. So this skill set that is the goal of parenting has this. It has the values. It has acceptance, that your child knows they are accepted in your home. It has affirmation. You never got it. You may not even know how to do it, but we are learning that your child is accepted, that your child knows that, in this home, you are accepted and you're a member of this home and you're loved in this home. And we affirm you affirm their strengths. That means you have to be a student of your child. We used to say some time back, become a student of your child so that you can know what are they good at, so that you're not being a fake parent when you're telling somebody, oh, you're so good in football, and they really suck at football. Your child will know you're just lying to them. Then you spoil your credibility. So we are saying, affirm them with the things that you know they are doing well. That means spending time with this teenager and the other ages that you have in the house. It also means your child is loved. I knew I was loved by school fees being paid, to a point that now when eventually some years later in my 40s, I love it, I'll be like, I mean, it would sound so out there. What really plagues the teenagers, especially, to a point that the LGBTQ communities seem very welcoming to them because they're accepted and they are not judged. The child should have beliefs. What do they believe about everything? What do they believe about themselves? What do they believe about you as a parent? Can they trust you? Another day I had somebody come in and say, actually, I've had this twice and it really broke my heart. Sometime last year, teenagers saying, I wish you'd just die. They're talking about their mom. I wish you'd just die. Where? I was like, my goodness. She was so wounded and she really abused children physically, emotionally, verbally, abused the father, and it was just total dysfunctionality. Then boy was saying, oh, I wish this man would just die. God, can't you just kill him now? And I'm thinking, oh my God. And so I said, do you know if he dies when there has been no conversation, or he dies where there's no conversation, it's really going to hurt you? And I was told, no, I'll be at peace. Let him just die. I don't know what he's going. Parents are very wounded. The two teenagers were really, really, really wounded by their parents. So what as a parent? And another one told me, I never want children. I never want to imagine that I can be somebody's mother, less of what my father was. So they should have good beliefs about themselves, about you as a parent, about the home. And we are not talking perfection here. We are just talking being real and being honest with the teenagers about the world. Because if we as parents, if me as a mother, I am so wounded that I believe that the worst thing that can ever happen to a woman is meeting a man. That is the same message I'm going to pass to my daughter or to my son. And then now when they go out there, they want to relate, they'll be like, but this man is not good. So if it's a girl, she'll decide, maybe I'm better off with girls. If it's a boy, he might decide men are bad, so I'm bad. So do I want to relate with a girl or do I stay with a guy? And then they look for wherever they're accepted and get lost there. The child should have a growth mindset. This is by the time they are leaving your home so that they can live successfully away from you. A growth mindset. A growth mindset is the one that changes. A growth mindset is that one that that accepts feedback. When they're told, this can be done better, they are there to listen and change. However, fixed mindset is the one that doesn't grow. They should have resilience. Resilience means bouncing back. Have failed. Do I get stuck there? Do I just stay in the mud? Do I remain stuck in my stickiness? No. I have failed. Failure is part of success. And so then let me get up, dust myself, and move, because in this life, failures do happen. Mistakes do happen, but we don't get stuck at them. How about culture? What cultures are we passing to them that they can exercise in the years that are coming as adults? They will see it in the home. Recently, we watched a very bad culture where somebody went to marry their ex and they're being beaten. Really? I mean, what cultures are we passing to them? The language that you speak, and you see language heals, language wounds, because language is words. What are we passing? The food, do we actually eat good food, balanced meals, or do we take out all the time? Supermarkets and these fast foods have made it very easy. We don't want to cook, and the mandazi vendors in the in the kiosks just around the corner. So what are we saying about food? That we don't have to cook. Let's just buy whatever we can, and then we start having these health problems. How about positive and healthy femininity and masculinity? What worldview are we passing on to them? Is this world a safe space? Is it a Kasongo, world? What are we passing to them? Are we positive about the worldview? Are we saying that, it could be bad out there? Problems are always there, but guess what? We are resilient. We can move on. We can do this. Life skills. Do they know how to even wash themselves? Do they know how to wash their clothes? Can they even iron? Somebody was almost unaliving themselves because they couldn't iron. They were called for an internship at 17, or was it 8? About 17. And the guy couldn't iron his clothes. And he was so frustrated, he didn't know how to use the iron box, that he was at a point of unaliving himself because somebody did not take time. Yes, we have house guards, but the children, both boys and girls, need to know simple life skills, cooking, cleaning after themselves, cleaning the house, hanging clothes, ironing, all these life skills, taking care of the younger sisters if they're there, shopping, using public transport, walking around in town. One time, somebody was telling me a story of somebody who went to town and they were just walking like this with their phone, trying, I don't know, to call somebody. And of course, the phone was snatched. Are they street smart? Are you teaching your children to be street smart, that they can take a matatu, that day when the car breaks down, they will not sit there stranded, not knowing how to go to work because they don't know how to use public transport. You're equipping them with these life skills, so that wherever they go, whether you're there or not, your children, the teen, the young adult can go wherever it is they need to go. How about social skills? How do they treat people? How do they converse with people? Do they throw hands at people? Do they just yell at people? Do they snob people? Do they talk to a certain class of people and ignore the rest? The gate man who opens the gate for them every day and talk to the nanny however way they want, because again, people are social capital. How about financial literacy? Do they know that we have to work for money? Or are they given everything that they want? And then now when they want 5,000 and they don't have it, they unalive themselves. We need to teach them financial literacy. We work for money. And when we get money, we save, we give, we invest, even from a small age. Let them do tasks and get the money. Not all tasks. Some are chores that have to be done. Cleaning the house, washing the toilets, but others should be chores where they are, given a little allowance for that work. How about conflict management? Are they taught how to manage conflict? Are they allowed to be angry? Because anger is an emotion that needs to be felt. When it is not felt, then they rage inside, like the volcanoes, because they've been told anger is a bad emotion, yet it is not. It is what we do when we are angry that becomes a problem. However, when I am angry, may I be allowed to go and skip, or jump or dunk my ball in the basketball court or run around the court so that I can get off that anger, then come back, then we have this conversation. But when the anger just stays inside, bottled, it becomes dangerous, it becomes a volcano. How about spiritual enrichment? Remember, as a parent, you mirror God. And a lot of teens have very negative image of God because of what they have seen with their parents. A lot of Gen Z and teenagers are saying, who God? And some of why they refuse to go to church is because some of them look at their parents. Like one was telling me, if you see Shosho going to church, you think she's a good woman, she's the worst because she's pretending. She's the worst. She doesn't even practice the religion she preaches. And so they are watching you. And yes, you're not perfect. However, at least with humanity, allow them also to see the human in you that makes mistakes, that is sorry when they are making mistakes, and that is even as fair as this God that we purport to serve. Some of the teenagers are refusing to go to church because of their parents. Some of the parents, sorry to say this, guys, but this is the truth from some of the teenagers. Sunday, you see my parents looking very good, smiling there, pretending what a happy family we are. But in the house, they are terrors. The mother is a terror, the father is a terror. And so why are we going to church? And then Sundays also become a day of a lot of kelele because this teenager wants to wear Crocs and sweatpants and look like a thug and my hairs that really look how, because during the holiday they decide I'm not combing my hair. But because now, and that was my story, because Victoria is here smartly dressed and I'm thinking we are going to church, let's go to church looking like decent people. And Sunday became a nightmare. for me and for my son especially, and my daughter at some point, because they want to wear these things. And I'm thinking, you guys, I don't want to go to church with people looking like they're homeless people. Until now, we sat and we realized that they were refusing to go to church. And so we sat with my husband and we were like, okay, so do we want to go to church looking good with people that are looking good? Or do we want people to be themselves and go to church however way they are looking? But then I also realized that when they look all smart, it was all about me. Yeah, see Victoria and her family, coming to church looking all glam. But now when we go with people with my hair, so you looking how in sweatpants and Crocs, I felt that I would be judged. The minute I stopped that pressure, the minute I was like, you know what? Just make sure whatever you're wearing to church is clean. And I removed the pressure from them. Then Sundays became a bit better. So what are we saying? As a parent, you're mirroring God. Do a good job at that. And you don't have to be perfect. Just show them the real you and be fair. And also practice what you're preaching. Then your teens then will love God. They will love going to church, and let them be. Those Crocs, it's not just them. They are just looking for themselves in their identity. We'll talk about it shortly. And then finally, the child should have the skill set of intellectual. That means they should have gone to school and gone to school well. Emotional intelligence, so that they can live and function independently of you. So what we are saying in short, parents, by the time your child is leaving your home, they should have all this. And you realize you don't have a lot of time to put all this into your child because they are going back to school. You may not have, a long time to do that. Actually, the last time we calculated, it was about, in 18 years, you have about 3 years. Calculate all this in your child. So this is the goal is parenting, that by the time your child is leaving your home, they should have this. And that's why we thought of sharing it, so that like now the holidays are here, you can start planning what small things can you do here and there with them, but talk to them as well. So the areas of our greatest struggles are the areas we have least awareness, like the parenting. Nobody gives us some of all this information. Some of the things you learn on the way, we make mistakes, and we are human enough to say, yeah, I made a mistake here. And now because there is awareness, there can be meaningful change. So also equip yourself on parenting through the developmental stages. We have AI people. If you're parenting 12-year-old, just go to AI and write good parenting for a 12-year-old. It will bring you the information that you need, so that you're not out there wondering what to do with your child, including the teenagers as well. So parenting is a relationship that is measured by how well it ends in your child leaving you and living on their own successfully at the right age. So like we have like the picture here, we start and finish before you know it. There you're giving them away on their wedding day, or they are getting married, or they are marrying. We want to do a good job because the next generation will have something to say about what we did. Let's not be like this guy who didn't finish. He was just about to finish, but he didn't finish. That's not considered a finish. And so let's look at what every teen wishes that their parents knew about them. The teen says, I am not disrespecting you. I just want to be heard. So sometimes when they argue, they are not trying to be rude. They are just trying to express themselves without being shut down. And sometimes they can come out forcefully because they are used to being shut down. And so at this point is to remember to respond well, because how you respond teaches them how to communicate as adults. As you keep practicing and doing it, then they realize, hey, I don't need to yell at mom. I don't need to shout at dad. And in my home, what we did is that we agreed. Because remember, I told you, I grew up in a generation where we were there to be seen and never to be heard. And so I told myself, for my children, I want to hear what they have to say. I had so many questions, but I couldn't ask. When I tried to ask, I was shut down. But in my house, what we agreed was, let's watch the tone. Let's watch the language. They come from high school wanting to use all these curse words. And I said, no curse words in my house. I don't curse at you. And so don't curse at me. Let's sit, let's talk. Your tone should be right. You can't just raise your tone at me or at your father. With that, we said that is a no-no. But I was told, but sometimes even you do. We said we are the parents, and we are really trying also to calm down, to come and talk to you in such a way that is conducive. However, when we go that way, it's okay, but you can't. And we will say sorry when we go that way, so that we agreed, so that the tone is right, the words are right. And what is being said, I said, think through it first before you speak. Try and just go through it in your head before it comes out, so that it comes out well and how you meant it. And then the teens say, when you compare me to others, it really hurts. And sometimes we do this, we compare them to their sibling, and this will bring sibling library. When they feel like their sibling is being put on a pedestal and not them. So don't compare the teen to their sibling or friend or cousin. Sometimes it looks like motivation. Can't you be like Peter? Can't you see how Peter just comes, does his homework, and he doesn't do all these things? It makes them feel not good enough, and it hurts them because then they are not accepted. Someone was saying, why can't they go and take that Peter? Then why do they keep telling me, all this? And then they say that they need your trust, even when they mess up. Overprotection can push teens into secrecy. They need guidance and not control. It is easy to control because that is what was done to us. However, when you control them, then it pushes them to secrecy. Remember yourself in these ages. There are so many things you did. Well, I don't know about you, excuse me, but there are very many things I did in secret that if my parents were to know right now, they'd be shocked that I was doing them well under their roof. So let's not overprotect. Instead, for example, checking their phone all the time and telling them you're the one who bought that phone, that you will take it away. And that house is yours, and even the bedroom they're sleeping in, the bed is yours. Now, that doesn't help build the relationship. It just messes it up. So instead of constantly checking on their phone and doubting their choices, build a relationship where they feel safe to come to you first. They have to feel safe to come to you. Safe from what? Safe from judgment. When a child comes to you, when the teenager comes to you and they say something, and they say maybe they are going to the shop, and then the conversation just goes off. Hey, even yesterday you said you were going to the shop, you never went, you went here. Then that's it. They will not come back to you again because they don't feel safe. So it's a place of constantly reminding yourself that you're trying to build a relationship with them, that they can come to you first and not go to the other people. But remember, if you haven't healed, this will not be easy. If you haven't dealt with your own pains from the past, then when they mess up, you will start being, you will judge them and jump at them for mistakes they have made that even you made. But this is basically being triggered, and that will also not help. Punishment, this thing is on my way. Just a minute. Yeah. Punishment does not teach me, but guidance does. So by the time teenagers are teenagers, the punishment by that time, I doubt whether they should be being caned and being hit. That's a point of dialogue, because all this, the beating has happened when they were younger. Yes, they need consequences. Some of it, yes, some of it I agree. Some of it might need that some pain. However, you also have to realize that they are growing and you are growing older. So be careful about this. Guidance works better. Yes, they need consequences, but let them also understand. Explain to them.
Sorry, facilitator has been kicked out.
I am back.
Thank you. You can proceed and share your screen again.
Yeah. Yeah, so where was I? Where did I disappear from?
The statements you said last, you didn't disappear for long.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, we
Yes.
can.
Okay, thank you. Let me try and retrace my thoughts and see where I was. I think I was talking about teenagers not wanting to
Punishment.
follow the tradition. Punishment.
Yes, punishment, and that we are growing older. So
Oh, yeah, they need consequences, but they also need to understand why. Why they have to go through whatever punishment that is being done. I was just saying, however, be careful on the sijui unamgonga unafanya nini. They are strong and they are stronger, so they might resist. And so by teenage time, more dialogue than hitting them. They have their own dreams, support them, and most teenagers may not want to follow the traditional path. So listen to their passions without you forcing them to follow your own expectations. Don't try to live through them. If you wanted to be a doctor and this one wants to be a chef, let them be. The doctor, that one has gone. Most of them right now are not following the traditional paths, especially with the social media and all these new jobs coming up in content creation. So it's listening and just having that conversation. Yeah, you want to be a professional footballer. My son wanted to be. And I said, yeah, that's cool. But let's research in Kenya. How are the football teams? Yeah, we have Harambee Stars. Yeah, how much money do they make? And how is this going to help you in your career? However, you need papers. And we looked at other careers where the people had papers and how well they were doing. Because now you look at football by 33, 35, I think, you can't play anymore. And so I was like, so what happens now at 35? Are you going to start going to school then? Okay, so you need the traditional way of going to school, but we had that conversation so that it makes sense to him as well. Please apologize when you're wrong. Parents make mistakes too, and owning up to them teaches the teenagers humility. It makes them easier for them to accept their own mistakes too. When the teenagers are held at a very, like almost perfect place, and then they make a mistake, most of them now start getting depressed and getting very anxious because they can't reconcile the them that is perfect and the mistake that has been made because of the standard that has been set so high. And then some feel I can't seem to please my parents. The bar is set so high that everything I do, nothing seems right. And then again, most of them go into depression and anxiety because of that. But when you're wrong, just say you're wrong. The first time I had to apologize to my child, I can't remember what I had done, and I almost got choked trying to say, I am sorry. My tongue just would not roll and say those words. However, I realized if they are going to be able to apologize to me as well, I have to show it. I have to apologize when I was wrong. And after the first time, it became easy. And I know, yeah, I have done that a number of times when probably I think I had accused one of them wrongly, that they had done something and it wasn't them. Yeah, and I had to swallow my pride and apologize. And from then on, it became easier and it makes them realize that you're human too. And the teenager says, I need to feel accepted by you. So many teenagers hide their struggles because they fear judgment and shame. We're in a very shame-based society. From when those paradoxical talks, it brought us a lot of shame. And so many not talk about it. They will not say, I'm struggling. I'm struggling because I have suicidal thoughts. And this is very common because of the emotional upheavals they go through and the hormones that are forever all over the place. So they have these mood swings that just swing all over the place. And then they don't feel like they measure up. They are going through growth spurts. One moment, The boys are talking in a voice that cannot even be quantified to be a bass or a soprano. It's just like a voice. When the voices are breaking, then they are getting all, the body's changing. They have identity issues. The friendships, some don't seem to be working. And so they struggle. However, when they know that they're accepted, and when they know that they will not be judged, when they know that there's no shame when they come to you, that gives them a balance. So that some of these struggles will not be very fatal. They'll just go through the struggles and come out successfully. The teen says that I want to be treated like an individual. Teens are not the same, even twins. Respect their personality, their learning style, their emotions, their giftings, their talents, and they are very different. You might find, yes, they are twins. One is very gifted in academics, the other one in football and no academics. And what most of them were saying is that my parents just want me for my academics. That is all they ask about. Can't they see me? One was asking, can't they see me, the me? And I was saying, okay, so who is the you that you want your parents to see? But see, I have this gift in drawing. I really draw well, but nobody even mentions about my drawing. Nobody mentions my cooking. All they keep making noise about is that below expectations that I got. So accept them in totality. The academics are important, but there's more to life than academics. There's more to life than academics. Accept them wholly. Because when they feel competent in something, whether it's that football, whether it is the swimming, whether it is the cooking, whether it is the cleaning of the house, whether it is the journaling or writing a book, then they feel they have something to show. They have something that they are competent about, not just the academics that they don't seem to be getting it right. And then with time, because of this competence in the football or in the netball or in the swimming, it helps pull up these other academics. All the child needs to know is that they are accepted and you see them, not just for the report cards. And then teen want open conversations about relationships, about sexuality, about mental health and life challenges without fear or judgment, parents, which means you will have to open up about yourself. Not all the gory details and all the crazy stuff that you did. Some, don't say some. However, when they're asking about relationships, don't pretend that you never dated, that you met your mom at the aisle, me and your mom met at the aisle. About relationships going bad, maybe the parents are separated on divorce. The children need to know. The teenagers need to know. And at this point, they'll be asking if maybe the teen is with the mom in a single parent family, the teen will want to know about the father. If the teen is with the father in a single parent family, the teen will want to know about the mother. So it's time to say, your mother is so-and-so. She is wherever, she could be married, maybe, but not to demonize the other parents. The worst thing you can do is tell the child that, your parent was a demon, your mother was the worst mother I've ever seen. I don't even know what made her. She left. Your mother, take responsibility, because remember, you're the parents. Your dad and I, your mom and I, could not live together anymore because maybe we were quarreling a lot, or we got married when we were very young and stuff happened. And so we had to separate. Even if this child was abandoned by the mother, don't tell the child that, your mother just left you at my doorstep and disappeared. Because that wounds the child even more. It's just sugarcoating whatever happened, but the truth of what happened. One mother told the son how a single mom told the son how the father had been hit by a lorry in South Africa and he died and he was buried there. When the son started asking about, where's my dad? I want to meet him. I want to know him. And so son said, okay, I would want to go and see his grave in South Africa. And the mother said, I don't have fare to get an air ticket to take you to South Africa. So the boy said, okay. And the boy through Form 4, he was feeling very lost. Because even if the father died, I want to see the grave, because that also gives me identity that, yeah, I belong to this man here that is dead. But not just knowing causes more harm. And so the guy started working and he saved up went and bought 2 tickets and brought to the mother and said, okay, fine, now here are the tickets, let's go. South Africa, I want to see my dad's grave. And now the mother had been lying. She had to find ways of telling the child the truth, and that really messed up their relationship. And as a parent, again, you lose credibility. And don't forget their neighbors and those people who are always telling the children all the stories that you don't want them to hear about you. So open up your life in ways that you can relate with your teen and tell them, talk to them about it. It's uncomfortable sometimes. Sometimes you will want to, I don't know, hide where. However, when you open up your life and show them your scars instead of your trophies, they realize, these struggles are actually true. And as you're talking to them about your own life, then you now have a place of connection where they feel they can come to you when they have their struggles. When you find them doing and trying out some things, it's not a time to lecture and bring the Bible and start exercising demons that could be in them. They are just curious to see if it's porn, what is this thing that I've been hearing? How is this thing done? So use that moment to teach them on the dangers of porn, on the dangers of masturbation. Yes, you parents, they don't have to come to Victoria to teach them about that. Talk to them about it. Use movies. As you're watching a movie, maybe a teen is drinking, and let them choose the movie to watch. Just sit there and watch it with them, and then use some of those moments and some of those things that you might want to communicate to them as you're watching the movie, instead of lecturing them. When you start lecturing, they zone out and they don't listen to you, and then they feel judged. And then when they're struggling, they will not come to you. So if parents avoid these talks, the teens will turn to internet and their friends and other places for answers. Sometimes I just need space, the teen says. So teens are always pulling away, and that is not rebellion. So it's natural for them to want some space just for themselves. So instead of guilt tripping them for needing their independence, create small moments for connection. Instead of making them feel guilty that they needed some space, just look for little moments, because all you need is just about 10 minutes of just that quality time with them, and you're good to go. Yelling doesn't make me listen. It makes me shut down. Believe me, I was a yeller until my son. He's like, Mom, you don't have to keep shouting. I wanted to tell him, and they were ready to come out. Then I was like, he's telling me something. I am making him feel embarrassed when I'm busy yelling at him everywhere. So I had to have a meeting with myself and deal with my issues, because when I'm yelling, it's all about me. It's all about me and my stress that I have. So when parents yell, teens stop hearing the message and focus on the tone. Remember, when you're yelling, your tone is uko. And then that feeling, this parent, and all these other things start coming. So I'm not lazy, the teens is. Sometimes I'm just mentally exhausted. So many teens struggle with school pressure, social media overload, personal insecurities, and what they are going through at that time.
Malika,
So sometimes someone is talking to me. So they're not lazy, they're need to sleep more. Remember in school, they wake, if they're boarding, or even if they're in day school, they wake up very early to go to school. They come back, they sleep very late. So it's okay sometimes to just allow them to sleep a little bit longer during the holiday. Not to midday, but a time that you'll both agree on. Collaborate with them, ask what time, then talk about it so that they can wake up at 8 or 9, instead of waking up like they're going to work, yet they're just in their home. They can wake up, sleep a little bit longer in the morning. I learn from you. I learn more from what you do than what you say. So teens watch how parents handle stress, how parents do relationships and conflicts, and they learn by example. So if you want them to be respectful, do it yourself. Be responsible as well, and kind, model that behavior so that they are not saying you're a hypocrite. Yeah, model it. Model what you want to see. And so now those were teens. So what are some of the common parent questions and comments that they have? Some of them we picked from what you had shared in your expectations, not all of it, but I hope this helps. So my teens changes friends frequently. Should I be worried? Saying it depends. The teen is looking for what aligns with their growing identity. So have a conversation if they seem isolated or are involved in harmful peer influence. Yeah. So they may be changing friends all the time. So don't be concerned unless they're isolating or they are hanging around some bad influence. Then have a conversation around it. Is it normal for a teen to answer? Is it normal for a teen to question our faith and family values? Yes, it is normal. And they are not being demon possessed when they are asking about God and the values. They are just, it's part of the identity formation where they question and evaluate the beliefs. So it doesn't mean they're rejecting. Actually, oftentimes it's about understanding what they personally believe and why. So engage them, and sometimes do some, tell them, you go and do your research, I'll do mine, will come and, continue this conversation further. But when they question and you go on the defense because you're feeling offended or you're feeling like they are abdicating the Christian or your faith, then they start defending themselves and rebel. Parent says, my teen is so different from who they used to be. Yes, this is because they're going through rapid physical, emotional, psychological changes, and they're trying to figure out who they are. Yeah. They are now copying friends and celebrities. Yes, and this is normal. It's what is called social learning, where they experiment with identity by modeling different people that they admire, even if you don't admire them. And with time, they begin to differentiate from and form their own style and values. So they'll start by the ones they admire, then with time, they start having their own autonomy and form their own styles and values. Parent says, I want to guide my teen without pushing them away. This is good. So stay connected through listening. Farm their strengths, ask questions, and set healthy boundaries without being overly controlling. This is called connected guidance. Check on the control part. It's easy to control and lay your low. However, it will not be obeyed. So you connect better and you can guide them better when you listen, farm their strengths, and stay curious. Stay curious about what they are telling you. You're being curious. Why do you think people should drink wine? Then they'll tell you maybe it's good after eating meat at dinner time. Then you're able to sleep. Then now continue that conversation. How about if you drank water and ate fruits? Would it have the same effect? What about when now somebody becomes addicted to this wine? Then what happens? Such kind of a conversation. My teen doesn't want to talk. And that's true. Sometimes they'll not want to talk. They'll just want to be by themselves, or they'll not want to talk because they don't feel safe. Remember, we talked about judgment. So keep that door open that they know when they want to talk, they can always reach you. And sometimes when they tell you something that really shocks you and you're feeling like your tongue has not even moved to say anything, just say, give me a minute. I'll get back to you on what you've told me. Or let's pray about it. And then look for time when you're going out somewhere and then talk to them about the thing. For boys, they are easy to talk to when you're doing shoulder to shoulder kind of talking, and men as well. Shoulder to shoulder is like when you're going out for a drive or you take a walk. They're easy to talk to that way when you're not facing each other. And for girls prefer face-to-face. So for your daughter, you can take her out to her favorite spot, not yours, hers, and the son as well. Find low pressure moments like drives, meals, and walks, just to show that, yeah, I'm available to talk when you want to. When should I be concerned about the identity exploration? The parent asks. If they're expressing distress and showing signs of mental health issues, this could be For a teenager, mental health issues would look like isolation, being very moody, not showering, not eating, overeating, oversleeping, being very thoroughly angry, where they talk about suicide ideations then, or they're engaging in risky behavior, like they just start climbing on the rail and they know they can fall very badly, or they will totally withdraw. Now it's time to seek professional help. And this is from the therapists and the counselors and the psychologists. How do I support my teen's identity without losing my authority as a parent? That should have been identity exploration. How do I support my teen's identity exploration without losing my authority as a parent? Lead with empathy, not ego. Empathy means I'm here. I am really trying to understand what you're going through. Remember, you are teen once. What would you have wanted your parents to be for you as a teen? And don't say, she survived that. Why can't they survive now? Different generation. And for this generation, mental health issues are a thing. As we were done for all those things and we survived, yes. But this generation is not. Mental health is a problem, not a problem. It's a thing, actually. It's a thing that plagues them. Yeah, so lead with empathy. Put yourself in their shoes, in this world. Imagine you as a teenager now in their world today, not ego. So be both a guide and an authority. And here we are saying you can't be your daughter's and your son's best friend. Be friendly, but not their best friend. There's a difference. Being friendly means I'm treating you with kindness, I'm treating you with tenderness, I'm treating you as my son, as my daughter, with empathy, but I'm still the parent. We will not now twin. Now we are wearing the clothes and look the same, hanging out in the same places and doing all these things the same. There now you lose credibility as a parent. So teens respect parents who respect them. And your influence grows when your relationship is strong. So respect them as well. I had one friend of mine who yanked his teenager's door, bedroom door. And he was like, this is my house. This door, have removed it. And I'm thinking, oh my goodness, so how does somebody change with a gaping space on the door? Because now that borders on lack of respect, in my opinion. I was like, have a conversation. Yeah, the house is yours, the door is yours, because it is your house. However, have a conversation so that now it doesn't put this teen at a dark place and then messes up the relationship. My teen wants more privacy. Allow
Hi,
it
Victor.
within healthy limits. Yes?
Hi, Victoria.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Now, we had indicated to finish at 9 and it's 9:01. I don't know how much time you need so that we can request the participants if they can allow us that time.
Oh, let's say about 15 minutes.
Alternatively,
okay?
Now that we will have part 2 of it, we may not finish everything. So maybe you can do a few minutes. Oh, let her finish, please. All right. So if we can wait for 15 minutes, that's well and good. And then also to pick a few questions within the 15 minutes so that there will be part 2 where we'll now have more conversation from parents as well. Thank you. You can proceed.
All right. Yeah. So where was I? Teen wants more privacy. Yes, respect, allow them the privacy. Yeah, but also now where was I? I think I got lost. Yes, my teen wants more privacy.
Yes, you're on the privacy part. That's where you pick it up.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you. So privacy helps them develop autonomy and differentiation and a sense of personal boundaries. So communication should be kept open, but monitor for the red flags, even as you respect their spaces as they grow. Social media. Teens are affected both negatively and positively by social media. They compare themselves or shape their identity around online approval. So discussions should be had around social media literacy and help them focus on real-world connections. The parents should take the lead. If it's phones being put away during mealtime, the parents should take the lead. And so that in everything that you're saying and working towards the social media literacy, the parents should be doing it by example. Not easy, however, it works. It's more effective that way. If it's saying all phones should be left on the sitting room when people are going to sleep, or yours should have a place maybe near your bedroom, away from your bed, so that they're also seeing that you're modeling what it is that you want to see. How do I help my teen develop a strong sense of self, encourage their interests, help them discover their strengths, affirm their values, and expose them to diverse experiences? Ask them, collaborate with them. What are these experiences they would want that would help them develop a strong sense of self? Parent says, I don't agree with my teen's choices, opinions, and fashion. Yeah, haha, hello, yes. You do not have to agree. Remember yourself and your parents some years back, but it helps to listen. However, focus on the core values like safety and respect, and allow room for harmless expression. And here we are saying, choose your battles wisely. Then now we go to healing. How then do I heal as a parent? And maybe you have seen some things that you have been doing that have caused both you and your teen, some distress in your relationship. You have seen the wounds. How do you heal? Awareness. What we are doing right now. There can be no meaningful change without awareness. And the areas we struggle most are the areas we have least awareness. Equip yourself with awareness about what you're dealing with. Acceptance is the other thing. Accept your wounds and accept the unhealthy patterns. Accept maybe some of the choices and decisions that have happened, that have made you be where you are at. And then realize that acceptance gives you balance for choice, decision-making, and problem-solving. Also allow you to process some of the wounds you have had from your family of origin and some of the wounds you may be causing your teen in the current family of origin. Then take care of the couple relationships, because quality of life is determined by quality of relationships. Quality of the family is determined by the quality of the couple relationship or the healthiest version of the parent or parents. So if you're a single parent, the healthiest version of you. If you're a blended family, the healthiest version of you as a couple will determine what kind of life your family is going to have. Then have effective stress management skill sets where physically you're exercising, you connect with nature, eat a well-balanced diet, among other things. Psychologically, you take care of your mind, check your mindset, because our mindsets create our world. Have quality sleep, journal, allow yourself to feel some of the things that need to be felt. The only way to heal emotions is by feeling. We can't not feel. Then for the social support systems, for the social parts of you, have good support systems, create a village that will help you raise this teenager. Because one of the things that we also very intentionally did with my family is that we made sure that around us were people who our children could go to in those matters when they felt they couldn't come to us, so that they had somebody to talk to, an adult that we trusted, that they could talk to, who had the same values as us. This can be done with friends or family. Create a village around them that will support them and that will support you as parents. Enrichment programs like these ones, but do not isolate yourself as parents and don't isolate your family. We need each other. And then be real, be honest, be authentic. We've said, show them your scars and not your trophies. We want to be very proud of our trophies, but our children shut down because what we set a bar very high that they're not able to meet. But when you show them our scars, then they're able to realize, all my parents are actually human, and they also failed. So they made it, so can I. So, and have genuine conversations with them. Collaborate with your teenagers. Make family rules together. Make the vision of the home together and listen to them too. The vision would look like, in Kedemi's family, we are honest, we keep time, We eat all our food. We don't throw food in the dustbin. Let everybody changia. Let everybody say something that can be put in that vision for the family. We are honest. We don't tell lies. You know, whatever they are going to bring, just put it there. So that when somebody is not keeping their curfew time, you'll remind them of the rules that you made together. Share a meal together without gadgets, so that you can bond and get to know each other. They get to know you, you get to know them. You get to know their thoughts and get curious about how their day was, how, just have a conversation around the table as you're eating. And in most homes, you find that some teenagers, especially the boys, they sleep out of the home. Let them come and eat the meal with you, at least that one meal, because maybe you're working, you're not at home. But if you're at home, let them share those meals together. Have movie nights, have game nights where you're playing Scrabble, you're playing Pictionary and Pictionary, just games to help you bond and just gel as a family. Model what you preach, because they'll call you out. Yeah, remember, these ones are to be seen and to be heard, and they're loud. So model what you preach. And where sometimes you're not able to model what you're preaching, when you're called out, own it and take responsibility. Because again, you're teaching them the same. Choose your battles. There are generational differences. For example, the dress codes, let them be. For me, we decided that, whatever is not life-changing, it will not make us lose sleep. Yeah, so some things like the dress codes, the Crocs, no problem. Life is going on. We will not, we learn to do our battles. And then create a safe space for them. Don't be judgmental, give grace. Be an all-weather present parent. These ones, they spell love as time. So when your child wants to know that you love them, it's the time you actually spend with them. Not that everybody is here on their phone and we are in the sitting room. That's not spending time. Spending time is actually getting to know them, talking to them, going out for drives on them, taking them out for dates. Even the son, and the girls, to take them out. Take them for a movie night, just some hanging out together with them. Become a student of your children and of your teenagers, then you get to know them, study them, Don't be overprotective, because you'll cripple them. Then they will be incapacitated. They can't do stuff for themselves because they were not taught how to. Create a functional family. It doesn't matter whether you're a single parent, a single dad, a single mom, whether you're a blended family, whether you're co-parenting. Let the family be functional. You're not hurting each other through the child and putting the child in the middle of your heart. That the child knows, yes, my parents are not living together, but I know at least they are cordial to each other, and you're not making the child carry your emotional, dysfunctionality and problems that are going on. So healing has to happen. So create functional family. For the couple, create a functional family. Because the problems at home send the child out to look for solace in the drugs, in the sex, in the alcohol, in bad relationships, in all these things that end up being traps of masculinity and femininity. We are finishing 3 minutes. So retreat for regular self-reflection, where you're checking yourself and saying, what am I doing well? What am I not doing well? As a wife, as a husband, as a parent, as a mother, as a father, how can I improve? Because Socrates says that an unexamined life is not worth living, Socrates says. So take some time off to just self-reflect and see, how am I doing? Am I being fair to my child? Yesterday when I was yelling at him, was it about the shoe that was left by the door, or was it me and my stress at work? And then also, let's check. We give everybody out there our best. Then we bring leftovers home. How about giving everybody out there the best and also bringing something home as well, so that we are not just bringing leftovers and nothing back home? And then seek therapy where there's need, where we need to heal the inner child, where there are father and mother wounds, parental trauma, the adverse childhood experiences. This can only be healed through therapy. And then you keep yourself with emotional intelligence, recognize and understand how to manage your own emotions and those of others, And this will teach you self-awareness, self-regulation, motivation, to be empathic, and social skills. And finally, let's pray for the marital and family purpose, each family purpose. The single parent and child, there's a purpose God has for you and child. Single dad and child, there's a purpose that God has for you. Nuclear family, there's a purpose, and as well as the blended family. God has a purpose for all those families. What is it? So that we can bring our children, and in the future, they'll not be there in the therapy space sharing how they were wounded, but they'll be saying how their parents turned their lives around. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, stop sharing and thank you.
Wow, thank you. What a marathon.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Victoria, for taking us through such a marathon of information. If there's a press like that, and we are grateful.
Yeah.
And to the participants, today we chose that path. So in our next webinar, it's going to be more conversational so that we get to share our experiences. But before then, let me pick just two questions that I've seen shared on the chat box, which I will ask
Yes.
our facilitator to quickly respond to. Actually, there are three, but I'll read them very fast so that you can give a quick response in case you have not handled any. So the first question is with the Family Remnant TV. That's how the name appears. I have a question because
Yes.
I'm going crazy. I have adopted 2 teens. I'm having a problem because I can't correct them. And if I do, I'm receiving attitude. One actually ran from home for a week. The other has attitude 24 hours, or do we say 24/7? Always anger, dressing, disrespectful, and this has been causing issues with my partner too. Please help. Question
You want me to answer
2.
that now? Oh,
Let
okay.
me read all of them so that you see if they are related. You can answer them together. Question 2 is from Violet. May I also, maybe I've also been doing it all wrong. I have 3 teenagers. The middle one, a girl, is almost sending me to an early grave. She even accused me of mistreating her. I live with all 3 without the dad. Oh, maybe, I think Violet was responding to an item you shared. So that's not a question per se. Let me see, Mubuta. How then do we balance out on the punishing when in some schools, caning is still taking place? You may have dialogue at home, but in school, the option is caning or other form of punishment. I can confirm that, and especially the national schools go through a lot. I mentor them and they share with me what's happening in those schools. By force, by fire, they get the discipline. So you can respond to the 2, the first one and the last one. And then we see whether there's one more as we finish.
Okay. So for Family Remnant TV, at the adoption, one of the things that could be happening is, one, the teens could be reacting to not knowing whether they can trust you. I remember they were abandoned. That's why they found themselves, or I don't know what happened to why they found themselves without not being in their home. So it could be that grieving the loss of what they knew to be home. And that's that. They are grieving the loss of their home. Then whatever was their home initially before you adopted them. And then they don't know whether they can trust you to keep them. And so they are going through what can also be called anticipatory grief. So that in case will be fine. So let me just show you attitude so that in case you decide to kick me out, go back where I have come from. They may not be trusting you as well. But however, it would be nice to seek help. seek therapeutic help, I'll be sharing my contacts in a bit so that we can explore this further and help you settle with them and know that they can, that they are wanted, because they could also be reacting from the abandonment and whatever happened. I would need more context to understand what had happened before they came. If they were abused before they came to your home, these could just all be reactions from that. So don't take it personally. This could just be reactions from what has come, from where they have come from before they came to you. But kindly, please seek further help. I would be happy to have a conversation further with you to help them settle together more peacefully. For Violet, so said to be just, she accused me of cheating her. Yeah. Even for you, Violet, I think let's just say that want to understand why your girl is accusing you of mistreating her. Ask her to write you a letter to tell you why she thinks you're mistreating her. And then listen to it through her ears, not through your ears, because you'll want to justify and defend yourself. Again, if it gets a bit rough, we also do family therapy. So you can come with them and we sit and just have that conversation to just help you find a way forward. For Mubuta, the punishing, that was ruled out. Corporal punishment was removed from schools in 2006. So if they are still caning students, that's breaking of the law, because it should not be happening. However, you don't have to do it at home because it's being done in school. At home, you can look for other forms of punishment that are not caning. However, in the school, what they are doing is wrong. They should not be caning. It's not an option. It was ruled out 2006, if I remember properly. So that should not be happening. However, you can find your own other ways to punish them in the home. Sometimes and have that conversation. You know, when you do something wrong at home, how would you want to be punished? Give me options of what is punishment to you. And you're saying here, maybe caning is not, caning will remove, give me other options that we can do. They'll tell you, take my phone, ground me, make me wash the whole house, make me dig, something like that. And then you can, collaborate. That's the word, collaborating with them. Is that another question, Steve? Yes? Go ahead.
Excuse me.
Yes, you're excused.
I'm saying concerning our children that are adopted, sometimes it depends on the way the truth was revealed to them and at what age.
Yeah.
Some react very violently and they accuse you of being evil. That why did you not tell me early? And sometimes you think they are still young and a neighbor reveals it, a relative reveals it, then it just spoils everything.
Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah, unfortunately that happens. And yes, the child feels very betrayed. That's why they are reacting the way they are reacting, because they're asking, why didn't you tell us? But it's already happened. And that's what I'm saying. Come, let's have that conversation so that we can see how to bring everybody back together. That would be better, helpful. But also, don't beat yourself up so much. You're doing the best that you can with what you have right now. So yeah, don't beat yourself so much on that. So somebody is asking, parental conflicts in the presence of children. When one parent shares adult and family issues and puts the other one down in front of their children, what kind of impact can this have on the children emotionally and the relationship with both parents? If the parent being criticized starts noticing changes like kids pulling away, showing negative attitude or not wanting to engage, what can they do to respond in a healthy way, and how can they begin to build trust and strengthen their bond with the children? Again, when one parent tries to put the other parent down in front of the children, you both lose their respect. The one who's putting down and the one who's being put down, you both lose the respect of your children. But remember, the children are watching, And sometimes what the children will do, sometimes they will gang up on the weaker parent, the one who they feel is being treated unfairly. They might gang up and want to support that parent. And so what these parents are doing is that you're basically splitting your home. So even if you have conflict, yes, it has happened in front of the children, resolve it in front of the children and come out and say, you know what, I am sorry, I was doing this, I was criticizing your dad in front of you. That was wrong, that should not have happened. Because now when you're tearing each other down in front of your children, you're losing, and then they'll stop respecting you. They'll also the same way you're talking to the other parent, and cause them now to be dishonoring. So that is not that is not good. So the mistake has already happened. Come back and repair that relationship in front of the rolling, in front of, and tell them, I did this, it was a mistake. I shouldn't have done that to your dad. It was wrong, or to your mom, it was wrong, and make up when they are seeing, so that they are not left treating the other parent in a disrespectful manner. Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much, Vicky,
Yeah.
for responding to that. I saw some hand somewhere, but I didn't register whose
another
hand that
question.
was.
There was another question, Steve.
Oh yeah, the question is, the other question is, now that our children are being mentored, how can parents reinforce that mentorship while at home? What strategy?
Is that mine or yours?
No, the one that was there on the on the screen down there.
Yeah, is a question mine or yours? You're the one who's mentoring.
All right. In most cases, what I normally do while mentoring the young people, we share the materials with the parents, and we also give a report to the parents on what happened, especially if we're doing a group mentorship. So the parents are able to actually follow up and see what's happening. But now, sadly, only a few parents normally bother to follow up.
I think it's because there was that Kenya flag.
Janet, you're saying something. Okay, Janet. Yeah, Janet has disappeared. But Victoria, you can mention something on that. How can a parent be proactive in a mentorship program? Like when you sign up your son or daughter to a mentorship program, what's your role as a parent?
One, to make sure that they are going for these mentorship classes, and then you can find out from Steve, what are they being taught? Or ask the child, what did you learn? So that you're also implementing it at home. If they're learning about honesty, let them come and teach you what they learned. And then now check to ensure that honesty is being done. It's being, practiced in the home. And then the going to class should not be through coercion and threats. Again, the collaboration and the talk about why that should be happening. That can help. Yeah, I think.
Thank you. Thank you for that. And an advice to parents, please, when you sign up your son or daughter for a mentorship program, follow up what's happening. I have a young man here who needs attention, but it's okay. It's not okay. So if there's no other question, as we have
Steve,
mentioned,
there's one.
all
Steve,
right.
there's
Go
one
ahead.
very quick one I'm seeing here. How do you manage a teen boy sharing a bedroom with a house girl? My boy is so against it, and I'm against it as well. Let the boy even sleep in the sitting room. Sleeping in the same room with a house girl is a no, 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 no. The house girl probably could be coercing him to, to be sexually active with her. Or he might, no, it's a no, no, no. It's not okay. So the boy can even sleep on the sitting room or some other space in the house, but not in the same room with the house girl. And in many cases that we have had where boys were molested, teen boys, it's the house girls that started all this. Yeah, so that's a no-no. Yeah. How about you, Steve?
Thank you. Thank you so much for that. Thank you, Victoria. We can't say everything today. And as we have mentioned, we have picked the reactions that you gave us as at the time you were registering. And we are going to craft topics around that. For those who have been attending these webinars, especially last year, you remember we had a series towards the end of last year, and we want to make them monthly. So be sure that next month, but because it's a holiday, we are not going to wait for the month to end, especially the question I see here around managing technology and screen time. Let me commit that either next week or the week after next week, we are going to have a webinar around technology so that we can have a conversation on technology beat. So thank you so much, Victoria. Now, Victoria, as I said, is a marriage and family therapist. And her contact, I shared on the screen, no, on the chat box, but you can still see it. And I've also just remembered a book that I need to recommend for all of us. I've texted it there. If you can find that book, please go through it. How Children Raise Parents by Dan Allender. all the things that we have been talking about are geared towards children raising us. They reveal the emotional imbalance in us, you know. They help us know that we can actually shout. And I had a comment put here in the chat box that one of the children actually, one of the teens actually told the parent that if a neighbor, I'm trying to paraphrase, if the neighbor hears you shouting, they will doubt whether you're actually born again. So that has been put in the chat box here. I was just laughing as I was going through the chat box. So those are interesting conversations. So as a way forward, number one, you can reach out to Victoria directly. Victoria, maybe you can type your contact again in the chat box. If you can't reach to her, reach out to us through the number that has been sharing with you this information so that we can help connect you to Victoria. Number two, we are going to have a continuation of this. So every month we'll be having these parental webinars on various topics. But the most urgent one is about technology that is coming up next, either next week or the week after next week. And then we'll advise on a way forward. Number three, we have a WhatsApp group where you can get all this information. If you're not in the WhatsApp group, please feel free to engage us using the number that has been sending you this invite so that you can be added in the WhatsApp group for parents. It's a WhatsApp group that is restricted. It's only for information. So there are no forwards or something like that. Next, we have a mentorship program for the teens, especially the high schoolers and the JSS coming up from next week. If you'd love your son or daughter to join this mentorship program, please reach out to us through the number. Now, I'm mentioning through the number, and some of us maybe you're not in the number. Let me just put that number in the chat box. The number is 0757 97 57 01. So if you text us on WhatsApp or on text, you'll be able to get in touch with us so that we share more information about the mentorship program. Otherwise, Victoria, you do want to say a last word before we pray?
Yes, just to encourage the parents. It may look rough now, but with awareness, it gets better. And with you healing, it's even better. With you just thinking positively about your teens, then your behavior towards them changes. It's not impossible, it is possible. And actually where you need support, please feel free to reach out. We'll be there to help you and just to say thank you. When I see all of you, it gives me such hope because then I know we'll have a better society because the parents are actually present and willing to learn and unlearn and relearn some of the parenting that was done to us that was not right. So I wish you well, and it will be well. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Victoria, for that. We are grateful to have you with us today. And we pray that God will continue to use you to impact generations even as we work together. Again, as I said, we have mentorship programs coming up from next week. They are virtual, by the way, yeah? Yeah, they are virtual mentorship programs. So if you want your son or daughter who is in JSS or high school, so the JSS sessions will be running separately. The high school sessions will be running separately. So if you'd want that, please join us. And again, we do these mentorship programs and parental engagement in schools, in your chama, in your estate, wherever children are, wherever parents are. If you'd want that to be done, even in your church, get in touch with us. We are able to agree in a program topics and facilitate that to ensure that we build generations wherever God allows us to be. Otherwise, thank you so much. And I would want to request, allow me pray for us so that we can call this meeting to an end. More information will be shared. If we don't have your contact, please reach out through the contacts shared so that we can engage you accordingly. Let's pray. Almighty and everlasting Father in heaven, it's a privilege to be using this technology at such a time as this, Lord, to engage on this topic, parenting. We keep learning every day. We make mistakes as parents, and in most cases, we parent out of who we are, the way we have seen, the way we have experienced parenting from maybe our parents. That's what many times we try to implement on our sons and daughters. But Lord, you have also provided for us an opportunity for us to learn so that we can unlearn some of the things that we have done as we learn new ideas and implement them to make our children grow up better, and also to ensure that our society and our families and society is safe. When we do that, our nation is safe. So Lord, we pray for more grace and wisdom. Thank you for our facilitator, Victory, who has delivered such a great content. And thank you for these parents who have made it for this session. There are over 290 parents who attended. Lord, we pray that may you be with them and may you continue to equip them to be the parents that will raise a generation, a godly generation that will transform our society. Lord, we pray that as Candid Hope, may you continue to use us for your glory and for the advancement of your kingdom. As we get out of this Zoom meeting, dear Father, may you be with each one of us in our families, in whatever issues that each one of us is going through. You know us deeply, dear Father. May you meet each one's need according to your riches in glory. May your blessings indeed be with us, and may you dismiss us, Lord, with your peace and mercies. In the name of God the Father, God the Son, and God the Holy Spirit, we pray and give thanks. Amen. See you, dear parents, next week.
Amen.
Bye.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Hey, and thank you.
Thank you. Bye.